I know I look crazy right now. I look like I just doodled on my face, but take off this look with me and a scary story. Not advertised. One time there's this couple that had just moved into their new house, and they really liked it. Nothing was out of the ordinary yet. They started to move some of their stuff in so that it would be easier the next couple of days. They had these creepy neighbors, but they didn't think much of it. They were like really old, and they were always smiling, which kind of creeped them out, but like, you know, I get they were trying to like think they were being nice. And it's a really good neighborhood too, so they didn't expect anything to happen soon. Or ever. Come back for part 2. Bye. Part 2. Like 3 days of them living in that neighborhood, their elderly neighbors came up to their door and knocked on it and gave them a welcome to the neighborhood basket. They really felt uncomfortable with their neighbors, but they did not try to expect anything bad happen. I said there was it wasn't a bad neighborhood, but there was a couple of suicides that had happened there. And so they didn't eat it. They threw it in the garbage, but they didn't want their neighbors to know that. Come back for part 3. Part 3. So like I said, they secretly threw it in the garbage. Their neighbors come back another day, just trying to give them more food. But they did not have a reason that time, so they were kind of like creeped out. And they never stayed and ate any of the food at all that they gave them. So, like, again, they throw it in the garbage without them knowing about it. The next day, the neighbors come back with another food basket, and they have no reason again. Come back, part 4. Bye. Part 4. The next day, they see the couple go out to get the mail, and then they come over to them angrily saying, "Why are you still here?" They say, "What do you mean, why are we still here? We didn't rent this place, we bought it." They said, "No, why are you here on Earth?" They tried to make a joke, like they thought they were like playing with them, and they said, "Well, we're not an alien." The elderly neighbors they had did not laugh. They were like, "The food we gave you, did you eat it? Was it good?" They decided they didn't want to lie to them, so she tells them, "No, we didn't." Come back for part 5. This is a make-up story. Part 5. They say, "Why didn't you eat the food? Did you go over and look through our window at our house?" They were like, "No, we would never do anything like that. We just didn't eat it." She said, "Why didn't you eat it? There is no reason why you didn't eat it." The husband starts to get kind of creeped out and says, "Why would we eat it? We don't really know you. I'm sorry. And we just have a bad feeling, and we just didn't want to eat the food. We're sorry." They said there was poison in that food. "Do you look through our window? Because I will call the cops on you." Come back for part 6.
Part 6.
The new neighbors said, "Why would you want to poison us?" They said, "This is our property. We've been living here longer than you guys. You only moved in 3 days ago." They said, "We're calling the cops on you guys." And they pulled out their phones. And the elderly neighbors took the phone and dropped it onto the floor and crushed it with their heel. They run into their house and they lock the doors. The neighbors the elderly couple tried to run into their house to try to kill them. They were only new, so they didn't expect any of this to happen. One of their other neighbors listened to their conversation and was thinking, "What is going on?" Come back for part 7. Like I said, the other neighbors were creeped out because they heard their conversation. And they go over to the elderly couple and ask them what was going on. They said, "None of your business," and they said that they should walk away. Like a good neighbor, they knocked on the neighbors that were threatening their life and said what was going on. They didn't open the door at first because they thought it was the elderly couple. They said their name and and asked them what was going on over there. They opened the door for them and really fastly let them inside the house and told them what was going on. They called the police. The police arrived an hour later. 8. But while they were waiting for the cops to arrive, the elderly couple was waiting outside of their door. Obviously, they didn't open the door for them. They told them that they had called the police on them and that if they kept bothering them, that they would get a gun on them. They weren't really owners of a gun. They just said that so that the neighbors would go away. The elderly neighbors did not believe them, and they stayed outside their door. At this point, they were very much terrified. They didn't know what to do, and they were so quiet so that they did not feel the urge to hurt them even more. Come back for part 9. Part 9. Scribble, scribble, scribble. Like I said, they stayed out there just waiting for them to come out. The cops come and they arrest them. And they look inside the elderly neighbor's house. There were a lot of herbs in the house and lots of different recipes to poison people. And their neighbors always, for some reason, did suicide against each other when they were neighbors with them. They were killed by the elderly couple, and the elderly couple made it look like that every neighbor they had was suicidal. All the neighbors the elderly couple had were murdered by them. They went to